SmittyOne.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Take a lap.
What is going on, good people? We are mock drafting tonight. You could call this an emergency mock draft session, if you will. Let's do some mock drafting. I'll drop the link in just a few seconds as people file on in. So get ready to grab your spot. We'll start shortly. First in the building, Swaggy, Big Dog, Blackbeard was third, then James, then Joel, then Sebastian, then Jeremy, then Vamp, and so on and so on. Appreciate you all being here. What's up, Jeff? Appreciate you being here, pal. Jacob, what's going on? Let's wipe the feet, like Rye said. And if you come across this show and you're like, hey, what is this? Pitch your tent. This is the Fantasy Football Show. We're your one-stop shop, baby. So
hit that subscribe button if you're new and wipe your feet at the door.
yeah, pitch your tent. We're your new one-stop shop. Don't forget to also, guys, before we start, please understand that if you want to help the channel, get on over to SmittyOne.com, click that Underdog Fantasy banner, and it's also linked in the description of this video. So just go to the description, click the link, or go to Underdog Fantasy and use code Smitty. Easier to use the link, to be honest, but if you deposit a fresh $10 into a new account, all you can do is spend $10. You can use it too on Best Ball. You get a free phone call from me, 10-minute phone call. We'll talk draft, trade, whatever you want. And not to get all this housekeeping out of the way, but have you been to sleeperu.com ever? Have you been following me for years and you yet to go over to my content site with my rankings, bold predictions, the text line, the one-on-one text service?
Want bold year-round rankings, trade calculators, and bold predictions? Get on over to sleeperu.com.
Okay, sorry to bore you with all the little ins and outs of the marketing part of the show, but had to do it. And not to mention, you guys are missing out if you're not checking me out at sleeperu.com, because we're year-round there, baby. Rankings, rookie rankings, super rookie rankings. Coined super rookie rankings a while ago. A lot of people do use similar versions of it out there, but your boy Smitty, it encompasses rookies and sophomores only. So you graduate out of the super rookie rankings, but they're probably the most popular rankings I have because it gives you a real sense of dynasty. I've been in this industry for 20 years. Invented the first instant-based trade calculator back in 2003. And your boy Smitty's got it all over at sleeperu.com. So make sure you're getting all my content there. Let's drop this mock draft link already, shall we? Let me get to the chat and drop it. Here comes the link in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jump into said mock draft. Now where is my... Here it is. I'm going to go from the 5 spot tonight. Lenny or Cook? Cook who? I mean, if it's Dalvin Cook, of course Dalvin over Lenny. I mean, anything could happen, but that's not even close, bro. Not even close. And I'm not even a huge Cook fan this year. So go ahead and jump in. Oh, you're already all in there. Don't worry, we're doing more. We're going to start this draft. The draft settings are as follows. 1 QB, redraft, PPR, kind of our usual. We're going 5 rounds because we're going to fire off multiple. We're not doing this 15 round stuff. I'm sorry. If you guys like 8, 9 rounds, we'll get there eventually. Not on every mock. Even during the August and the June, July, August, we're still doing 6, 7 rounds. We don't do 15. We just don't. It's not my style. I don't like boring my audience, and especially on replay values. I know some of the people involved in the draft want to do that, but people are watching this thing, and nobody wants to see somebody mock drafting to round 18. It's just not a fun. It's not a good look on a replay. Number 1, Jonathan Taylor. No surprise there. Najee Harris, number 2. Jamar Chase, number 3. This is probably going to be based on our audience. I'm going to guess Javonte, but you never know. Could be CMC. I don't really recognize This drafter here, Austin Eckler. Boy, I didn't recognize him. I knew we'd probably be looking at a potential Javonte Williams slippage, and we're gonna do it live. Javonte dropping your boy Smitty at the 5 spot. That's what you might find in the real world. We are ultra high on Javonte. I don't think you're gonna find that in the real world. You just won't. So we're gonna see Javonte at 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8 overall if we step outside of the fantasy football show community. So be prepared. I love that 5 spot. If I'm getting Javonte on the regular in the real world at the 5 spot, you can bet your bottom dollar this man Smitty is 100% loving that 5-6 spot in 2022. We need to do at least 27 rounds to get a feel for things, says Silver. Trying to play on the fact that we're joking around about people that get really mad when we don't go deep into a mock draft. That always comes from somebody in the mock, though. You rarely ever see a viewer of the mock draft, meaning somebody outside the 12 people drafting, that says, "Can you please go to round 19, please, so I can sit here and twiddle my thumbs?" It's always somebody in the draft, and I appreciate everybody. Those of you drafting, those of you just watching, those of you watching on a replay, those of you on Spotify video. Did you know your boy Smitty's on Spotify video? Yeah, one of the only sports video shows on Spotify. Every single YouTube show pretty much goes on to Spotify, and some original stuff is on the way. But you think those people want to watch round 15, round 18, round 19 with bad ADP data? No, they don't. The answer is no. We're coming around the mountain here. Leonard Fournette at 2.1. What?
Take a look.
I mean, do you? But that is certainly higher than I've ever seen Leonard Fournette go. Holy smokes, man. That was ultra high. I just might go with a high pick myself. And you can tell me to take a lap. I don't care. Okay. Diggs is a good pick here. Man. This is tough. Kittle, nah. Quarterback. We got Josh Allen. Herbert. Okay, so Breece Hall went. That's probably who I would have wanted to take. And that would have been early to a lot of people, but not me. I'm going to go ahead and go Diggs. Diggs is pretty decent here. He's still got a lot of upside. He's still got a lot of talent. Sanhu, you would say that because you just asked me the question earlier, Dalvin Cook or Fournette. So, of course, you're going to think Fournette is close to top 12 overall material. But I'm telling you, that is a big mistake. That is a grave mistake. That is more than that's a whole round off of where you should be thinking. A whole round. Like, Fournette shouldn't be going in round 2 at all. If you want to take a gamble on him at 3.1, 3.2, hence the word gamble, you're still gambling on him there. Imagine what I think about him in the second round. You just can't. There's no need for it. Like, if you are right, Sanu, I don't even need you to come back. If you're right and say Smitty, he was top 15 overall, you owe me an apology. I'm not going to give it to you. Not because I don't love you. Not because you're not my boy Blue. I appreciate you. And I respect you, and I respect your take, and I like bold, and I don't want you ever to apologize for liking something that no one else likes or feeling bold about it. But Sanu, I have a job here to do, and that job is to at least guide you into not making a pick you don't need to make. You don't need to draft Leonard Fournette at 2.1. You just don't. If you love him, let him fall. I know you might not get him on the way back, but don't force it in a mock or a draft slot. Like, draft him in a different league, trade for him later, but don't take him at 2.1. You're literally wasting 12 to 14 picks. He's not going at 2.1. He's just not. It's not a good move. As much as I appreciate your boldness with it, as much as I want you to stick to your guns, don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself. And if you believe Leonard Fournette's going to be top 12, 13 overall, by all means, good man, take him. But don't be drafting him at 2.1. That's a huge mistake. He just doesn't go there. He doesn't even go close to that range. I'm going to go ahead and say Herbert's probably going to be my pick here because I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go later quarterback if I can get away. There's some decent players here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go Kenneth Walker here and assume that he lands in a great spot. Obviously, we're assuming that. Sanu, what do you have to say? Come back. Don't feel. I want you to know I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Sanu. I don't want you to feel negative about my take there. I just want you to get the most bang for your buck. You're not getting any bang for your buck with Fournette. You have to, Sanu, if Fournette blows up, then you earn your value. Okay? But he has to blow up for you to earn your value. You have no upside at 2.1. Even if he delivers that, you're paying top dollar. There's no ceiling value. You're literally hoping and praying to God that Fournette does what you drafted him at, return-wise. That's madness. 2.1's madness, bro. Trust your gut. Believe in Fournette if he's your guy. But don't be reaching like that. That's craziness. Okay. Let's make this a little bigger. There we go, broskies. Okay, so Hopkins. Let's look at some of these teams. 1.1's got JT, Zeke Elliott, Mark Andrews. Team number 2's got Najee Harris, CeeDee Lamb, Elijah Mitchell. Elliott's way too early at 2.12, bro. Way too. What are we doing here? What do we do? I'm sorry. I very rarely punch the take a lap button. But Fournette at 2.1 is a little lappy poo. And so is Ezekiel Elliott at 2.1. Really?
Take a look.
Zeke Elliott. Even if Zeke Elliott does end up having 1 year left, you have to, Fournette at 2.1, Zeke Elliott at 2.12. Guys, trust your gut. And Sandu, you're still arguing the wrong point here. I'm not arguing whether Fournette will be good. Sandu, I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing you took him 12 picks too early, and you're trying to use the argument that you like him as to why you took him 12 picks early, or he's going to do well as to why you pick him 12 picks early. You don't need to take him at 2.1, pal. That's all I'm saying. Zeke is at 2.12 is 2 rounds too early. You're questioning your sanity when you draft Zeke in the 4th round. You're like, am I making a big mistake here taking Zeke Elliott in round 4? 2.12's madness. And please don't take offense to that one, A1. I'm going to time out here because I don't have anybody queued. Who am I going to draft here? This is crazy, bro. Did you guys leave anybody for me? I don't know who I'm going to take. Oh, I'm going to time out. That's right. I had him queued. At least I got a player I like because I queued him, thank God. But I wanted to get Waller on the way back. I queued him for 5.5, but he might not fall. I better start queuing some people or I'm going to get in trouble. Boy. It got thin. It got thin real quick up in this mug. I mean, this is craziness. Ayuk, Sutton. Don't need a tight end anymore. Okay, we'll go back and see who falls to me. Where's Sanu? I want to know what Sanu's saying here. I hope Sanu understands what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you, pal. If you believe in Fournette, do your thing, bro. Just don't do it there at 2.1. Zeke is a touchdown. What? Zeke completely dependent on TD, says Rag. Zeke in the 4, says Silver. That's what I'm saying. Zeke is a 4th rounder. Zeke is a 4th rounder. Zeke is not anything but a 4th round player. You can't even take Zeke in round 3. Hovey says, I disagree. Go after who you like no matter what, no matter where they're at. No, Hovey, I appreciate you. And best player available, so we're on the same page there. Oh, God. Let's go McLaurin. We're on the same page there for the most part, but you have to use ADP to your advantage. You can't take Fournette at 2.1 because you like him. You know what I mean? So, to a degree. Have Lenny going top 24. Okay. But exactly my point. If you want to take him at 2.12, Leonard Fournette, then do it. But don't force it at 2.1 because in your mock draft, you're drafting from the 12 spot. That's what I'm saying, Sanu. Yes, other communities have him going 24, but he's going like 23 to 36, okay? So you take him at 2.1, huge disadvantage. And to Hoovie's point, and I love guys. Look, Sanu, I love you, pal. You've been here for a while. You're an OG here. I'm just merely saying 12 picks too early is not you're not taking advantage. And Hoovie, I totally love what you're saying. You go after your guy. Hoovie's got a good message here. Go after your guy. Don't care what people think. But at the same time, you've got to use ADP to your advantage. And an example of like Waddle, I love. I don't care that Hill's there because Waddle's value dropped. So it's kind of baked in now. But that doesn't mean I take him in round 2. I take him in round 3 or I let him go and I get him in another draft. Let's go from the far side here. We got Travis Kelce at that 12 pick, paired with Leonard Fournette, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a little too early too. Like if you had taken Aaron Jones alone at 3.12 to 4.1, I get that. I've done that before myself. But to reach on Lenny, to reach on Aaron Jones, it's still a good team. It's just you have to get out of Aaron Jones. I assume that's you, Sundu, and from that far spot. I don't know. Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift at the 11 spot. Mahomes, DK, Michael Thomas. How you ended up with those good wide receivers? I mean, Mike Thomas is a huge risk, but you're talking about near almost 6th round, so I'm okay with that. DK Metcalf is your wide receiver 1, and you went 0 WR for the first 3 rounds. Fantastic drafting. I figured it was your team. I figured it had to be your team. Okay, Rock out. What's up, pal? Hazelnut says, and top 24 is also one thing. You took him, and it wasn't Sanu. He said that wasn't his team, but still whoever took him at 2.1. Sanu was like defending it, so that's why we thought it was you. But yeah, it's one thing to be 2.1 and 24. It's literally 12 picks apart. 12 picks apart. Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, Hopkins, George Kittle, James Conner. Very solid team. Cook, Chubb, Waddle, Judy, Allen Robinson. Great 0 wide receiver approach through 2 rounds to get Judy and Waddle as your wide receiver 1 and 2 is pretty strong. Cooper Kupp, Debo, Barkley, Etienne, Kyler, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Cam Akers, Joe Burrow, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's a little early in a redraft in the 5th round. But it all kind of rides on Derrick Henry on this team and Cam. Your running back stable's got to stay healthy. Jefferson, Hall, Herbert, Monty, DJ Moore. I like that team a lot, Triple J. Javonte, Diggs, Walker, Waller, McLaurin. I like my squad. I wouldn't call it top 2 or 3. But I would say that if a couple things happen, I could definitely be a top 3 team. But I would need Walker to land in an amazing spot. Be as good as I predict he can be. and then I'm cooking. Eckler, Kamara, Josh Allen, Keenan Allen, Deontay. That's a top 5 team. That's a top 5 team. I like it. Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Gibson, J.K., Lamar Jackson. Very interesting. Najee, Lamb, Mitchell, Pitts, Dak. I like that. It's top 6. Did you draft twice? Buck, 1, and Jay Bucks. No, I guess you're 2 different people. JT, Elliott, Mark Andrews, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins. I like that you tried something new, but definitely would not have gone Zeke at 2.12. Probably the biggest reach of the draft is Zeke at 2.12, then Fournette at 2.1. Fournette could come very close to delivering on 2.4 value. He could, like, if he blew up, but you don't want to draft him there because his ADP's 2.12 to 3.12. It's like a 12 pick range. All right, here we go. Going from the 3 spot. Copy link. Dropping said link in 5, 4, 3, 2. Boomski. 63 of you in here. Please subscribe if you're new.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
And when we say wipe your feet, we mean hit the like button. We mean smash the like button. We mean crush the like button, broskies. We full? Okay. JT goes 1. Big Dog is number 2. Who you taking, Big Dog? Najee. Am I going Javonte again? Wow. Okay. I'm not going to pass on it just to prove a point. I mean, he falls to me. I'm taking him. I don't mind going. Maybe I'll try 4 or 5 next round to get a wide receiver and go wide receiver and try and mock draft a wide receiver in the first round. Sorry, Joel. Keep trying, Joel. Okay, so Jonathan Taylor went 1. Najee went 2. Javonte went 3 to yours truly. Eckler going 4, 5. Eckler's going about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's a good value there. Jefferson, phenomenal at 5, 6, 7, 8. Anywhere in there. McCaffrey at 6. This is what I would hope for. I'd hope for these running backs to go at 5, 6, 7. These guys I doubt a lot. I'm not saying they can't do well, but please take Henry before me. Please take Cook. Please take McCaffrey. Let me get, like, Gucci. Let me get Cooper Kupp at 9. Let me get Jamar Chase at 10 all day long. Those are better picks than Henry, Cook, and McCaffrey, in my opinion. That's me. You guys keep doing you. Jamar Chase, I love that. Jimmy at 10. And Darren, that's not to say Henry can't earn that. J-Dub, not to say Cook can't earn that. Make sure you cup to Madison. Gyro, not to say McCaffrey couldn't be number 1 per start, but I'm not taking him in the top 6. I'll take McCaffrey in 1 or 2 leagues, 10%, maybe 15% max of my leagues would I toy around with Christian McCaffrey, but I'm not grabbing him until like 11 or 12 overall. Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs. Look at the wide receiver run. 5 straight WRs from pick 9 to pick 13. CMC and Henry at 6 and 8 are baked in. I don't know. I don't know that I would say that. No. I'd say you could argue it, but not for me. Not for me, broski. Baked in to me is for McCaffrey, it's 11 or 12. And that's in 1 or 2 leagues. Henry, the one thing I don't know about Henry, don't worry, Navage, we're doing another. The only thing about Henry that I don't get is that everyone's just assuming. Like, This is one of those situations like Barkley last year. Barkley had to prove to us he was ready because he was so far behind schedule. What did I tell you about Barkley? Don't go near him. Don't go near him. Because he hadn't proven to us that he was back. And he was the one that had to prove it. Not us. We didn't have to wait on him. It was let Barkley prove it. And if Barkley couldn't prove it, then you pass. Barkley didn't prove it. So Barkley was a big avoid in 2021. Same thing here for Henry. Henry came back and did not look himself. I know it was one game back. I'm on the clock here. I think in redraft, Kelsey would be a steal here in redraft. I'll take him. I don't like Kelsey in round 1. This whole Tyreek Hill leaving, oh my God, you got to take Kelsey in round 1. No, but I'll take him at like 2.10. And I do expect him, if they don't acquire a DK, they don't acquire a Lockett, they don't acquire another talent, I do fully expect Kelsey to get tougher hits, tougher coverage, tougher defensive scheming, because this dude's going to be the focal point of defenses. So, but I think at 2.10, exactly where I had him before the Hill trade, I'll take him there, but he doesn't climb for me. If anything, I'm more worried about him staying healthy. But in this case, I would take Travis Kelce. Jerry Jeudy. Where did Breece Hall go? I like Walker again right here. I like DK. I do need a wide receiver. I think DK could get traded. Even if he doesn't, I feel like he's a good third rounder. He's a little risky as a third rounder, but I really do like him in this situation where wide receivers are ripped off the board quickly. I've got a nice little balance going on here, which I don't need to have because I'm best player available, but I do try and draft balance when everything's equal, because it is a huge advantage to walk out with the kind of balance I've got going on here. One running back, one wide receiver. I've got Travis Kelce. You're very flexible the rest of the draft to where you won't get suckered into going position of need later because you're rocking it from this balanced approach at 1.3. Are you done with the night or need some practice? Are you done for the night? Need some Jorge. No, we'll do another one, Jorge, at least one more. Get JJ for CMC. Well, let me ask you this, Rav, and I'm asking this. If I'll barely touch Christian McCaffrey at 11 or 12 overall, but JJ to steal it, pick number 5. Rob, you know who I'm going with, bro. It's JJ all day long. He's my top 5 or 6 overall. And Christian McCaffrey's lucky to be in my top 10 in one league. So it's like clear as day. Where are we at? So we got Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen, Eli Mitchell. I love that Triple J from the one spot. Najee, Herbert. Herbert's a little early at 2.1, broski. I feel like Josh Allen's I like Herbert as my number 1 quarterback, but I'm not going to take him number 1 because you don't need to. You can easily take him in the 3rd round. I probably because now you kind of feel like Judy's a little bit of a reach too, right? And so now you have 2 reaches in your first 3 picks, and it's going to leave you a little bit lighter than you should feel. So it's good to try it, but I think if you take Allen, that's one thing because you're going to have to take him there. And I think Allen and Herbert are going to be neck and neck, the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks in 2022. Either one could finish number 1, truly. But it just left you in a spot where you took Jerry Jeudy a little too early. I got Javonte, Kelce, and DK. I love it. I think that's top 3 so far. Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, Kittle, very similar to my squad, but I'd say a step down. So I like it. J Buck. Luter's got Chubb, Walker, Jefferson. I like that. Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Mark Andrews, very balanced. I like it. You know, if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. Swift, Aaron Jones, Cook, you could be struggling at wide receiver, but I'm interested to see what you do. Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Hopkins, very solid trio, but you could be looking at 4-game suspension for Kamara, 6-game, half a season, who knows? So, you know, that's going to hurt. Hopkins has to prove healthy, so there's 2 risks that are kind of right there. And then Henry's a big injury risk as well. So it's a very, very risk-driven team, but you got a lot of upside for sure. Cooper Kupp, Joe Mixon, Patrick Mahomes. I love that, Gucci. Deontay. See, I think Mahomes, even though he's a little bit lesser ranked for me than Herbert in 2022, I love the value of Mahomes at 3.9 versus the value of Herbert at 2.11, coming from a guy that loves Herbert number 1 overall for potential finishes. So I just think that, you know, that's a great team. Deontay, Mahomes, Mixon, Cooper, Kupp. That's the definition of being patient. I better start queuing up some people here because I'm going to be in some trouble. You know, Monty's a decent value this year. I really do like Monty. I would have liked whenever Luter's always snagging my people. Monty, I would have probably taken Monty there. I don't mind telling you guys because I feel like I'd rather help you. Waller, I'm going to queue Waller again. Waller seems a little early at 4.10, but I kind of... Oh, I've got Kelsey on this team. I can't even do that. Shoot. I mean, Amari Cooper is okay here. I guess I'll just take Cooper. I'm going to time out. I don't love Cooper there, but it's okay. Like almost 5th round. It wasn't my favorite pick, to be honest, but it kind of makes me not love my team right now. I don't know why. I don't have anything like against Cooper. I just don't love drafting him where he kind of needs to go. Man, it got thin quick. You guys are a bunch of snipers, man. What do I do here? See, Elliott at 5.3 is where you see Elliott went 2.1 in the other 2.12 in the other draft. I don't like this team. I feel like the way that you guys sniped me, I feel like the last 2 picks I'm not super happy with. I'm not super happy with DK. I'm sorry, I love DK. I'm not super happy with Cooper or Mike Thomas, but I feel like this would be an okay team. I like T. Higgins. I just don't love him like everybody else. I'm not taking him as high as everybody else, but I do like T. Higgins. So it's definitely like the guy. Monty is good, but Fournette is locked in with Tommy B. Where did Fournette go in this draft? What do you mean? Why are you comparing Monty? Why are you comparing Monty at 4.9 when Lenny went? Where did Lenny go? Lenny went 3.12. They're very far apart. What do you mean? Why are you comparing the two? Box says, I feel like Amari's going to ball out when Watson is finished with his suspension. Yeah, whether he keeps it up after, though, he's tough to gauge. Ryan, guys, give Ryan your thoughts on this trade right here. In Superflex Dynasty, would you rather have Josh Allen or the 1.2 Debo, the 1.9, and a 2023 first? Ryan, where's that first going to probably be if you had to project? What's up, John? Appreciate you being here. Debo, Stephon Diggs, Leonard Fournette, Joe Burrow, Clyde from the 12 spot. Decent. Devontae Adams, Breece Hall. Guys, we got to stop drafting Breece Hall too high. Like, I'm warning everyone that Hall's going to be a top 10 to 15 overall pick come August, but we got to make sure we're not shoving him into that range too early. You know, because he's going in the 3rd and 4th round. You know, so 2.2 is like, I mean, I think he'll earn that, but he's not there yet. Jamar Tyreek's fantastic start for Jimmy. Kyle Pitts, little early, maybe not. I don't know. It's tough to say if he's going to get the volume, but man, did you make up for it by taking Gibby in the 4th round. So Gibby, Kyle Pitts, you could even flip that. So that's a top 6 team, Jimmy. Gucci got Cooper Kupp, Joe Mixon, Patrick Mahomes, Deontay, Zeke Elliott. That's where you draft Zeke Elliott, and that's even like when you draft him there, you're like, like it's good value, but I don't love it. You know, so like Elliott's got that. You don't know what he's going to bring to the table this year. Trey's a little early. I know you guys want to like get your quarterback because you're only drafting 5 rounds and you need to feel like complete, but you'd want to wait on Lance at 5.8. He's not going there. McLaurin, Hopkins, Kamara, Derrick Henry. So Darren, it's a good squad. I like it. You'd definitely be in my top 6, but I wouldn't have forced Lance there. Cook, Swift, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton. You certainly, J-Dub, did a good job drafting your number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. Those are fantastic wide receivers, given you went zero wide receiver through 3 rounds, bro. Like, that was great. I like it. I still think it'll all depend on Cook and if Cook can stay healthy this year. McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Andrews, Godwin, Lamar. Very solid. Very good team. Jefferson, Chubb, Walker, Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Love it. Top 6. Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, George Kittle, David Montgomery, Matthew Stafford. Very, very good team. I've got Javonte, Kelsey, DK, Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas. I'd say I'm not top 5. I don't like where I went with Cooper and Mike Thomas. It just doesn't feel right. Najee, Herbert, Judy, ETN, Waller, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen, Eli Mitchell, T. Higgins, DJ Moore. Link drop. Link droppage. Boom. Get some. Boys. Let's go. Let's bring this over here. Let's kick back for a second. Okay. Let's go. 1.1. I don't think we've seen a non-JT pick in a while. I think it's pretty safe to assume he will be the 1.1. He should be the 1.1. He has to be the 1.1. Austin Eckler, that's the highest we've seen him go, I think, all offseason. Number 2. Not that it's not arguable. It certainly is. I'm never going to tell someone not to take him at 2. I'll tell somebody not to take Fournette at 2.12. I'm sorry, 2.1. I'll tell somebody not to take Fournette at 2.1. I will tell somebody not to take Zeke Elliott anywhere near the end of the 2nd round. But I'm not going to tell somebody not to take Eckler at 2 overall. Like, that is arguable. I wouldn't do it, but it's 100% arguable. JT, Eckler, Javonte, Najee. Very strong top 4. Jefferson, I mean, this is a very good mock. Even with Eckler going a pick or 2 ahead of normalcy, it's still a very strong looking mock. Jamar Chase, everything's par for the course. Nothing's off base. This is a very, very healthy looking mock according to my particular, rankings. I'm fine with this. Dalvin Cook, I don't mind anybody taking Cook in round 1. I understand why you would. And you can't go out. Sometimes people don't like the way I do some of my content in how I use a lot of gut instinct on top of statistical data. Like, I use a lot of stats. I'm very stat driven, but I'll tell you when something's purely gut driven or historically like pattern recognition of this, that, and the other, or like 20 years of watching running backs decline. and looking at Cook and saying this feels a lot like I've seen before, and I would stay clear of Cook. That's the feeling I get, and I understand that rubs people the wrong way, and they don't always like that approach. Let's go double wide receiver, I think, here. Unless I could go Chubb or Swift. Oh, gosh. I could go Diggs. Let's go Debo. Let's go Devontae Adams and Debo. But in the case of Cook, it really truly is like pattern recognition, no statistical data other than the fact that he's had massive amounts of shoulder issues, and it's only going to get worse with that torn labrum that is probably torn in multiple places, and we're never going to be told that information. You could only use logic and say to yourself, hey, this guy has to have multiple tears because he's popped his shoulder out as if it's nothing. It's like a Lethal Weapon. This guy pops his shoulder out like it's a Lethal Weapon Part 7. It's getting worse. It's going to pop out easier and easier. The guy crawls off the field multiple times per season. You literally think that Dalvin Cook is out for the year multiple times every single year. For me, it's just like, it's just a big avoid. I like Cooper Kupp. I like Jamar Chase. I like Justin Jefferson over Dalvin Cook in 2022. And the good news is you're almost 0% of the time going to see all three of those wide receivers off the board when you're on the clock and Dalvin Cook's the best running back. If you're on the clock and Dalvin Cook, you're staring Dalvin Cook in the face, he's the top running back to draft, you will almost 100% always see one of Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, or Jamar Chase available. And that's kind of your saving grace. And that's why I don't ever draft Dalvin Cook in 2022, because I will almost always see that wide receiver, one of those wide receivers there. And I know that Avi's saying just get Madison with Cook. Not thinking that it's going to be 100% the cases here. Number one, they're talking about drafting his brother. There's a lot of people reporting on that the Vikings will look to potentially draft Dalvin Cook's brother, James Cook. There could be some cloudiness that goes on in 2022, more so than we expect right now. Not to mention, if you guys don't think Dalvin Cook's going to be one of the craftiest reaches for people, Madison's going to be one of the craftiest reaches for people, and you think you're going to easily be able to cuff Madison and Cook, I think you got another thing coming. This season is going to be a season where Madison gets reached on. Dylan's going to be grabbed as a standalone player. You can't cuff Aaron Jones and Dylan very easily. Tony Pollard's going to have his own standalone value. Some of these super handcuffed running backs are going to be a lot less available than they used to be. So I'd rather draft. My whole point, Avi, is why not avoid the injury that I feel like is sure to come this year and grab Madison and grab Jamar Chase. Why not get the best of both worlds? If you avoid Dalvin Cook, you take Madison later, you draft Jamar Chase in place of it. It's more about what's the better option, not about can you safeguard yourself the best way you can. Sure, but I'd much rather just grab the best option available on the board, personally. You pick CMC and he hits, you win your league. You think there's at least a 12% chance CMC doesn't get injured this year. I mean, here's the thing, you could win your league, but bro, it's not a lock that he's gonna 100% be his old self. While he hasn't shown a ton of decline when on the field, we don't know. He's about at that point, Bach, where he's gonna potentially fall off. So even if he didn't have the injury risk, he'd have the fall off risk. So now you have two different risks you're looking at. And they're surely going to dial him back to try and keep him healthy. All right, I better start queuing some people. You could win your league, but you could say that for a lot of picks, man. I would have loved to have had a Waddle fall. So I've got double wide receivers. I need running backs. Monty's interesting here. See, Fournette would be interesting on these back-to-backs. Kenneth Walker. I love Kenneth Walker here. I'll take Kenneth Walker with one of these picks. Wide receiver. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is really hard to pass on here. I'm going Mahomes. Definitely doing a light running back approach here. Yeah, and here's the real to box counter. The counterpoint to box point is box says you could pick CMC, and if he hits, you win your league. Sounds fun. Sounds great. I like the concept. But then Tyler's like, you could also draft CMC and lose your league just like the last 2 years. You know, it's like you could spin it one way, and then you can easily spin it the other way. Be like, you could draft CMC and literally lose your league like the last 2 seasons. You know, what I always like to tell people is this: when you're dealing with a player like Mike Thomas or Saquon Barkley or Cam Akers or Christian McCaffrey, when you're dealing with a player that gives you more reasons to be concerned than to believe, you need to take a certain approach. That approach is let them prove it to you, like Derrick Henry, before you just start giving them their old value back. If Derrick Henry is on the verge of drop off anyway, like Derrick Henry's on the verge of not just drop off, complete and utter vanishing from the face of the fantasy football earth, because the mileage is through the roof. Through the roof. Same thing with Zeke Elliott. All these players I've named, Henry, Barkley, Zeke Elliott, Mike Thomas, all these guys are on the verge of total potential drop-off. They may return. Christian McCaffrey could return. Henry could return. But since they haven't shown it yet, Henry hasn't shown that he was back. He came back and looked awful. Looked like he didn't have burst. We don't know if the plate's going to be taken out of his foot or not. It supposedly could be taken out, but he's got a plate in his foot. His burst wasn't there. He's got to prove himself before you give him his old value back. You have to value him lesser. You got to value him a lot lesser before you give him his old value back. So, Barkley, he has to earn your respect back before you start dishing out this high draft capital value. Mike Thomas, don't even consider giving Mike Thomas a 3rd round ADP or a 3rd round draft slot until he proves himself. Okay? And in the case of Christian McCaffrey, he could win you a league, but are you really going to take him at his old value? I don't think so. You shouldn't. What's up, Nevin? Any chance I'll have a black hoodie for sale? Go to smitty1.com/merch and see if I've got any black hoodies at all in those versions, bro. I don't know if I do. Peter says Breece Hall in the 2nd round. Peter, buckle up, bro. Buckle up. It's gonna get the Breece Hall ADP climb is gonna get wild, and we're gonna be a big part of why I'm trying to tame people, but he will get taken. Peter, you might want to sit down, Peter. Sit down, Peter. Breece Hall is going to go in August around 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, depending on your community you're drafting with, if people know what time it is, Peter. Because he's the same thing as Najee Harris last year. Najee climbed to my number 8, 9, 10, and everybody laughed, and he was absolutely worth it. This is getting thin, people. It's getting thin. Oh boy. God, is AJ Dillon just too high here? I almost feel like I would want to swing for the fences on that pick right there. It seems a little high, but I'd have back-to-back so I could protect it. But Walker and Dillon would be very light to walk in at running back. My top 2 running backs. Walker and Dillon. But considering I have Mahomes, Debo, and Devontae, if Dillon is a top 10 running back, if Walker's a top 10 running back, championship. Like, this team will be a top 5 team if one of those two lands and they're a top 6 to 10 running back. If both of them landed, it'd be lights out. But I do need that to happen. I'm banking on Dillon or Walker to be a massive home run. Tyreek, Diggs, Mitchell, Fournette. See, Fournette's good value there. I feel like I scare people into not drafting him by just screaming and yelling about his 2.10, or no, 2.1, 13 overall selection a couple mocks ago. This is good value for Fournette. Fournette could go in round 3. Mitchell, Fournette, Kyler, Diggs, Hill, very good team. McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, Waddle, Deontay, Russell Wilson. That's a top 4 team, Darren. Gucci got Derrick Henry, Swift, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Allen Robinson. If Henry stays healthy and Swift can have that 15, 16, 17 games of elite production, you would be lights out, Gucci. But you need Henry to stay healthy, which is a tall order in my opinion. But it could happen. Cooper Kupp, Breece Hall, Herbert, Pitts, Michael Thomas. I like that team, Luter. You took one huge gamble on MT, but you went pretty safe all around. Breece was a little early for the current ADP climate, but I love Breece Hall, so I'm not complaining. I think he'll easily climb there. I'm glad people aren't taking him at 2.1, and let's try our best not to make him a crazy. Let's not change his ADP entirely yet. Yeah, but Luter, that's a good team. Top 5, easy. Cook, Chubb, Kittle, McLaurin, Cooper. Like it. Chase, Kelsey, Barkley, Burrow, Connor. I like it. Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Aaron Jones, Elliott, Etienne. Love the running back approach, Navage, going 0 wide receiver through 2 rounds. Or 0 running back through 2 rounds. You got a stable there that could end up being pretty crafty. One of Elliott or Jones at one point should be carrying you with ETN. I like that. That could work out well. Elliott, no earlier than the 4th round. If you're going to take a gamble on Elliott, try and cuff Pollard in like 6, 7, 8 round range. We don't know where he's going to go. Let's see here. One pick, JT, CD, Hopkins, Monty, Jacobs, very strong team. Eckler, Kamara, Evans, Waller, Brady. Kamara can miss half of a year, 4 games, 2 games, no games, but probably 4 to 8 games, Kamara. So it's tough to value. It's tough to rank teams that take Kamara. Ziggy, stop. He just starts talking. Ziggy, is Alvin Kamara going to be suspended in 2022?
Here's something I found on the web. According to IndianAuto.com, allegedly, sources inside GM suggest that all plans of developing a new-gen Camaro have been suspended.
Camaro.
6th-gen models will continue to be
Ziggy, off. Ziggy, what's the latest NFL news on Alvin Kamara?
Here's something I found on the web. According to TalkVietnam.com, running back Alvin Kamara and the New Orleans Saints have reached agreement on a 5-year, $75 million extension, according to the NFL Network's Ian Rappaport.
Ziggy, off. Okay, where were we? Javonte, Josh Allen, Mark Andrews, Judy Akers, solid. Najee Harris, Gibson, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, JK. Gibby's got weird ADP. He went in the 4th round in the last mock. He went at 2.9 in this mock. He's kind of all over. Jefferson, AJ Brown. Yeah, so good mock, everybody. This one we're going to do Superflex. Draft settings. 2 QB. And we'll make this one a little bit longer than the average for all of you. Look at that. We're going to go 8 rounds. 8 rounds in a Superflex so we can get a real feel for this one. A real feel for this one. Superflex. I hope Giants pick Brees and trade Saquon. I hope the Giants pick Brees and trade Saquon to the Giants. I don't know about what you're saying there, Bach, but I don't want Brees Hall on the Giants at all, whatsoever. But I think you're wanting Barkley. Barkley could get traded, maybe. His contract isn't the most attractive, so we'll see. Okay, here we go. Oh, I didn't even pick a spot. That's okay. I'm gonna let you guys draft, and I'm gonna critique it. I kind of like that I didn't get in this one, actually, because that gives you guys a chance to get in another spot, so it's fine. I'll critique the whole way. How's that? All right, here we go. Josh Allen, like it. I like it. I like going with the quarterback. I understand it's fun to take. I think it's fun to take, JT in Superflex when everyone else is going quarterback, but I don't know that I'm doing it with the top 4 pick. I think I'm going to go quarterback. But I am one that will definitely push my second quarterback a little further than the average person because I see the talent that's bleeding running back, wide receiver in the second, third, and fourth round. Fantasy says I'm not doing the quarterback thing. Give me JT, which I understand, but we'll see if it works out. Because you had Burrow. Burrow was fantastic. You had Burrow and a couple other quarterback options, but Burrow was the guy at one point forward for me. But I don't blame you for going JT. Mental is up at 1.6. Who's Mental gonna go? If it were me, I probably would have went. I don't know if I might not have been able to go Russ Wilson, but it's definitely a good pick. I mean, he's going to have a great year, so it's not bad. Jamar Chase goes number 7. Number 8, J-Dub is up. He takes Kyler Murray. It's understandable in a 2 QB league to take a quarterback that can run and do well. I have concerns about Kyler, but you know what? He's been keeping his head down. He's been working out. He hasn't been complaining. So, I mean, it's good that he's keeping his head down. The kid took Deshaun Watson at 1.9. Now, while that's a good pick in theory, if he doesn't miss a game, he's expected to maybe miss 4 to 8 games, maybe longer. He could be put on the commissioner exempt list depending on how the league looks at the misconduct situation. So that's a tough one, bro. I don't know that I could go Deshaun Watson that early. That just seems really early for a guy that can miss, a significant amount of time. So, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray heading back that direction. Justin Jefferson, Javonte, and Harris back-to-back. I like that looter. We'll see how it treats you at quarterback because quarterbacks are going to fly off the board. So we'll see what you do. It is really hard to win a Superflex without at least one top 5, top 6 quarterback. If it is, it's just hard. So we'll see. Those early picks are a huge advantage. Huge advantage. Javonte and Najee's pretty nice though, bro. That is interesting. I'm gonna be curious to see how this works out for you. Matthew Stafford and JJ paired up again. Javonte and Najee Harris paired up at the 10 pick. Lamar paired up with Eckler is very, very good stack. Cooper Kupp and Deshaun is a good stack, assuming Deshaun plays, but he can miss half a year. Again, that's why that could be a bad pick. The Deshaun pick is just too early, in my view. On paper, it looks great, though. Kyler and Hurts. I really like Hurts a lot more than people like him in 2022. I think Hurts is a good quarterback. I think people are giving him a bad shake. This is interesting. Lithium's taken 2 wide receivers in a Superflex, back-to-back wide receivers. I've never seen this work out very well. So we'll see what you end up doing because here's the problem. Let me give you a little lesson on Superflex, and you could hit a home run with it if the picks fall the right way. But the problem with Superflex is if you go wide receiver, you're ignoring 2 positions of scarcity. In a 1 QB league, there's only 1 position of scarcity, the running back position. In a Superflex, there's the running back scarcity and the quarterback scarcity. And if you avoid quarterback and running back in your first 2 rounds, I'm all about best player available, but when all things are equal and you go wide receiver, you're going to put yourself potentially in a bind where you're chasing quarterback and running back the rest of the draft. You're just running like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to fill voids the entire way. Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson, Swift and Burrow, Jonathan Taylor. OJB, you're timing out, bro. I could have had your spot, broski. Turn your auto draft off. You timed out with some pretty good picks, though, bro. But turn your auto draft off. It's under Q. Let's go to the front. Triple J's got Josh Allen, McCaffrey, Trey Lance. Could work out pretty well. Justin Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry. If Dalvin Cook and Henry stay healthy, that could turn out really well for the timed out OJB. Gyro, Mahomes, Diggs, Adams. No RBs, but looking very strong there. But how will your team look later? JT, no quarterback yet. You go tight end in round 2. It's too early. Like fantasy, let me say this. And again, I'm all for trying different things in mock drafts, so don't take this the wrong way. But boy, oh boy. Mark Andrews at 2.9 in a 1 QB league will be extremely early, bro. Extremely early. Like 2.9, you'd almost take a lap. In fact, you would take a lap. Taking Andrews at 2.9 in a 1 QB league, you'd be taking a lap. And in a 2 QB league, put this in perspective. Taylor's the first pick in a 1 QB league. Like if we go in order of non-quarterbacks here. Taylor, Chase, Jefferson, Javonte, Najee, Eckler, Kupp, AJ Brown, Diggs. Oh no, not Diggs. You just took Andrews number 9 overall with this pick right here, fantasy. You took Andrews 9 overall because he is the 9th non-quarterback taken. That's way too early. Mixon was a value. I trust JT at 1.4, but not this way. And I'm just trying to help. Breece Hall, Joe Burrow, Swift. That's interesting. Russell Wilson, Dak, CeeDee Lamb. Interesting. Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Fields. Wesley says, but it's not. What's that mean, Wesley? How did Kelsey fall to 3.10, but Andrews went at 2.9? That's such a big difference. Fields, AJ Brown, Jamar Chase. Not a horrible quarterback to grab considering. Kyler, Hurts, Debo, very good trio in a Superflex. Watson, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Leonard Fournette. Very strong, but it's just the Sean Watson thing. J-Dub ended up getting Debo, and Evans still has no running back yet. Justin Fields and Carr, Jamar, and AJ Brown. So let me say this, Lithium. Looking at this right here, I don't hate it, but don't you feel like Fields and Carr are forced at this point? This is why we mock draft. It's not. You don't have to feel bad because I'm calling it out. But Fields and Carr feel very forced. Like you had to do this. So that's why going those 2 wide receivers, it puts you in a bad spot where you're taking position of need and not best player available in your 3rd and 4th round pick. And to me, that's going to feel a little bit like I would have went. I probably would have went Dak over AJ Brown. Then you could have been a lot more flexible. You could have taken Debo. Like Dak and Debo at 2.6 and 3.7 are better than AJ Brown and Fields, if you know what I mean. Debo was just as good. Tyreek Hill, just as good. You could have had Tyreek Hill or Debo instead of Fields and had Dak instead of, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, bro? I'd much rather have Debo at 3.7 and Dak at 2.6 than AJ Brown and Fields. Just a lot better look. Deontay Mitchell, Trey, McCaffrey, Josh Allen. Very interesting squad. Justin Herbert at the 1.2, then Cook, Henry, Saquon, McLaurin. I don't think I would have went running back again, bro, with Barkley. Barkley doesn't have that, that, I gotta grab him feel. So like I probably would have went a different route there. Who are the quarterbacks left? These are the top quarterbacks left. Cousins, Tannehill, Lawrence. Lawrence isn't bad. Malik Willis is interesting. Zach Wilson's not too bad. Matt Ryan's steady Eddie. You know what I'm getting a sense of? That in a super flex, it looks really good to wait on a quarterback. If you want to toy around at all, waiting on a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, Malik Willis, Zach Wilson, Matt Ryan, or 4 quarterbacks that tend to fall in rounds 4.10 to 5.12. You know what I'm saying? My squad looks pretty solid to me, says Swaggy. What pick are you at, Swaggy? New York Giants need to make a trade. Just look at my draft board from the past year. Mark Andrews went 3rd round. You like him there? I do not want Mark Andrews in the 3rd round. I'd rather take Knox, Schultz, Freiermuth, or like Waller around 5. It's just much better value. Much better value. Dynasty tight end premium got offered AJ Brown, Allen Robinson, Fant 2.9 for Devontae Adams and Jonnu. I would take AJ Brown. The AJ Brown side, bro. Yeah, AJ Brown side by a lot. I mean, you could argue he's as good, and you're getting a Fant in a tight end premium. Fant's got some problems, right? But we'll see if things get shaken out for him. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. 72 people in here. If you haven't hit that like button,
hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
Wipe your feet, smash that subscribe button. Annihilate it for your boy Smitty, who's out here working overtime trying to get you guys into as many mocks as I can tonight. That's my job. This probably will be the last mock of the night, I think. Kenneth Walker, let's go to these teams. Luter, Javonte, Najee, Aaron Rodgers. This is from the final. Actually, let's go to team view. Triple J, Josh Allen, McCaffrey, Eli Mitchell, Deontay Trey. Looking strong, bro. That Trey Lance and Josh Allen and still having that crew is pretty good, bro. Obviously a lot depends on McCaffrey, though. Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Henry, McLaurin, Barkley. I mean, it's a good team. It's very strong. Mahomes, Monty, Diggs, Adams, Keenan Allen. Very, very steady. Fantasy, it's got Taylor, Mixon, Hopkins, Higgins, Mark Andrews. I mean, for going super early at tight end, bro, you have a really good team. Like, the problem is you have no quarterback. So we'll see what you get. Like, if you can still get I don't know if Zach Wilson's even available. Who are the top quarterbacks available? Zach Wilson, Ryan. If you can get like 2 of those guys, you'll have a really good team. But we'll see if you grab a quarterback at all. But that's a very solid 1 QB team. It's just you're playing in Superflex, so it's going to be tough to evaluate. We'll come back and look at it. But I like your picks, but I just don't like the Andrews pick was way too early. Burrow, Swift, Breece Hall, Metcalf, DJ Moore, Trevor Lawrence. I like that squad. That's crafty. Mental's got Russell Wilson, Gibson, Lamb, Sutton, Waller, Prescott. Very, very solid. Lithium's got Fields, Cam, JK, Chase, AJ Brown, Carr. Not a huge fan of that build, but I told you why. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trying things out. I do things where I hate my team after. It's the way it goes. Murray, Aaron Jones, Damian Harris, Debo, Mike Evans, Hurts. Very interesting squad. I like it. The kid took Watson. Again, Watson can miss 4 to 8 games. We don't know. Fournette, Connor. That could be a sneaky running back crew, but they have to stay healthy and deliver. Cooper Kupp, Tyreek, Kittle. That's a very strong trio, but with Watson, it's a tough team to expect it to win because you're gonna be without Watson for a bit, and he's your only quarterback right now. Lamar, Kirk Cousins, and then you got Eckler, Kamara, Kelsey, Jacobs. That could be a very, very crafty. That's a team that could be like top 3, and you don't really like you're not scared of them, but every week they're hanging and beating people, and it's a understated team. Stafford, Chubb, ETN, Jefferson, Waddle, Pitts. That could be really, really dangerous. And Luter. I know some of the teams are going to go a little deeper, but I'm just going to review them now. Aaron Jones, Javonte, Najee, Jerry Jeudy, Kenneth Walker, Tom Brady. Bro. Luter is very... I don't know if you guys noticed, but Luter drafts very much like me. And Luter, if I had to... Like, let's say I was going to get on a plane. Let's say NASA was sending me to the moon. And I was going to be out of pocket during a big money draft. The guy that I think would draft based off my thinking... Like, and Luter, I'm not saying you definitely use your own thinking. I see picks that I wouldn't do and picks. So but a guy that I know would know who I want would be Luter, because he'll snipe everybody from me. Like, Luter would draft the team I would draft. He would know what to do. I would give Luter my team. See, Luter, do my thing, Luter. You know what I'm gonna do. Pretend you're gonna snipe me at every turn and then draft my team for me. That's what I'd do. Brady and A-Rod. And then the nice little Mike Thomas that just popped in there. Like, given the state of the team, why not? You know, I'm not even a huge Mike Thomas believer, but with this team and given where it is, the stability all around, why not throw Mike Thomas into this mix? Why not throw Dawson Knox, one of my top 5? Look at Luter is basically got sleeperu.com and this mock draft side by side. And Luter and I are going hand in hand. Luter's basically on my shoulders while he's drafting. I've got Luter right here, and we're walking around. This picture of Luter on my shoulders. Brady and A-Rod. You can't get better than that in a super flex if you're still going Javonte and Najee Harris and Jerry Jeudy and Kenneth Walker and Dawson. Like, this team just won the entire mock draft. Luter won the entire mock. Luter, do you have your lifetime membership at sleeperu.com? Luter, do you live on the site? Because Luter's breathing. He's like pupil number 1, valedictorian from sleeperuniversity.com. This guy's my valedictorian. He's giving the speech every year. He's the one I'm sending out to the podium to fire people up with his cap on and his gown. When I attended sleeperu.com university, this is how we did it. This is how we do it. Luter is pupil number 1. This is a team that I would draft. Look at this squad. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady down at the bottom in the Superflex. Javonte Harris, Kenneth Walker, Dawson Knox, top 5 tight end. Jerry Jeudy, top 10 wide receiver. And hey, why not throw in a Mike Thomas, who we doubt, but we don't have a lot of risk involved in this. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, where's the team we were going to go back to? Where was the team we were going to go back to? There's somebody that had a team that we were wondering what he was going to do at quarterback. No quarterbacks yet. Who was that? Oh, it was fantasy. Okay. Matt Ryan. Daniel Jones, I don't love, but at least you got Matt Ryan, bro. Matt Ryan, Taylor, Mixon, Hopkins, T. Higgins, Mark Andrews, A.J. Dillon. I like it. I think this could be... I think you could have cracked the top 6 to 7. I think you could have crapped. You could have crapped the top 6 or 7, bro. So that was a great snag in Matt Ryan. I don't love the Daniel Jones. I don't know if Malik Willis was there. What quarterbacks are available? Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Malik Willis than Daniel Jones. I'd probably rather have... I don't know, maybe Winston. I just don't believe in Daniel Jones. I like Dable. I believe in Dable, but I think Dable's going to find a different quarterback. That was a good mock. That was a good mock. Luter, are you a subscriber? Are you a lifetime member on sleeperu.com? If you aren't, I wonder what it would do to your game. You might become Like you might never die. You might be eternal at that point when it comes to your fantasy game. Yeah, fantasy you didn't do bad with that Matt Ryan pick. I was wondering what you were going to do, and Matt Ryan seems to be the most logical weight on a Superflex quarterback right now. I feel like Matt Ryan and Trevor Lawrence are the two gems in waiting on a quarterback approach in a 2 QB league, and we just saw it. I'd have Wentz over Aaron Jones. I probably would too, John. I'd probably take Winston and Wentz maybe over Daniel Jones. Not to mention, like, if it's not just because of like talent, but I don't know that I picture Daniel Jones starting all year. Yeah, Luter just stole the show. Luter stole the show. No, maybe we'll do one more. Let's go with, I know what we're going to do. Draft settings. PPR. We're going to take these back. We're going to take that back. Do they have a 10-second? Yes, they do. 10-second timer. Let's roll, broskies. Let's roll. 10-second timer. Bring your A game. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for real ballers. I'm going to grab this one spot because I'm navigating a live stream. It's a little easier for me to do back-to-back picks, so I have to take one of the ends. We're doing one more. This is a 10-second mocky poo. So you got to bring your A game. You got to really be prepared. And in fact, you gotta queue up people too. I know some of these guys are gonna be gone. I'm gonna queue up some people just to make sure I'm ready and prepared and I don't time out. Okay, you guys ready? Here we go. 10-second timer. Let's roll. It's so hard. 10 seconds is really hard. This really is good training. This is like when you're trying to get good at being yelled at, and you just got to go around your wife and just have her scream in your ear while you're drafting. It helps train you. Just have her screaming in your ear about what you did wrong throughout your day, and try and draft with the yelling going on right in your ear. It's like training. It's the ambient noise, the ability to ignore and focus. It trains you. It's the way all of us should train. It went Jonathan Taylor, Javonte, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Eckler, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, DeAndre Swift, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, Diggs, McCaffrey. Jorge, you got to jump in, bro. I can't. There's no way to hold a spot for you. You gotta get quick at it. There's people there in every single draft. Like Luter's in every single one of them. So how is that? Maybe you guys can hold off on joining one or two of these once in a while. But like if Luter's in every one, I don't understand how some people can't get in. Like he's in every single one of them. Okay, so I better start getting prepared here. We're getting close. We're getting close to my pick. And I got back-to-back, so I got to really be prepared. Okay, Alvin Kamara. Shay or Shy or 4, whatever, is pretty quick. Okay, I almost timed out. I just had to grab someone. 6 seconds. This goes so fast. I'll just go Waddle. It's a little early in the third round, but I had to make a decision. I'm okay with it. I'm okay forcing a guy that I feel could definitely earn that wide receiver one, low-end wide receiver one upside, especially with Hill. It's a little early. Like Waddle's more of like a 3.4, 3.5 guy, so I understand I took him early. I get it, but 10-second timer. What are we supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Huh? I'm about to time out. Let's see here. Let me just queue up some of my favorite guys that may or may not be around at the next pick. And we'll just see what's what, right? Okay. I have a feeling some of these guys are going to be available, at least one or two of them. It goes so fast, bro. It goes so fast. Okay. Judy. All right, let's go over the teams real quick. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen, Jalen Waddle. Love it. Jonathan Taylor, Herbert, DK. We have very similar teams, and I like that too. Najee, Alvin Kamara, Keenan Allen. Depends on Kamara. Could be suspended 0 games, 2 games, 4 games, 8 games. We don't know. So a lot depends on that. Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Andrews. Solid. Andrews in the 3rd round's good. You know, I personally would rather have Knox or Schultz, and I wouldn't take Andrews in the 3rd round, probably ever. But I understand it. It makes sense. You can still win doing that strategy. Gibson, Lamb, Eckler. I like it. Justin Jefferson, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. I like it. Cooper Kupp, Debo, David Montgomery. Very solid. Swift, Hill, Hopkins, Fournette. Very good. Let's go to the back. Diggs, McCaffrey, Deontay, Godwin. I don't like Godwin with a torn ACL personally, but I understand. It's not crazy value. ETN I love. Mixon, Devontae, Joe Burrow, good team. Higgins, Patrick Mahomes, Chubb, Derrick Henry. That could be really good. Cook, Kelsey, Barkley, Lamar. Interesting. Okay, here we go. It's okay. So I have... I'll go Waller here, and then I'll probably go, oh God, I'll go Aaron Jones here, I suppose. That's a good squad. I like that squad with a 10-second timer. I feel like I made pretty good moves. Like, I don't love Aaron Jones, but I fully believe Aaron Jones at 5.1. Like, I'm waiting on my running back 2. I'm not drafting a normal running back 2 like at 3.5 or 4.1. Like, waiting until the 5th round to draft your running back 2. You're a wait on a running back 2 approach. I like Aaron Jones there. I like him there. I like Waller around the 5th round, and he went at 4.12 for me. Waddle, Josh Allen, that's a team I could get behind right there. That's a good squad. And it's interesting how close the 1.2 pick in my team is. Javonte, I've got JT. Herbert, Josh Allen. Waddle, Metcalf. Waller, Pitts. Aaron Jones, DJ Moore is the only difference, but that's pretty crazy how similar those teams are. I like the 3 spot. I love the 4 spot. Mitchell was a steal at 4.9. I didn't even see Mitchell there. Well, 3.1 I probably wouldn't have taken. Yeah, I could have taken him there. But Mitchell was a steal. Like, and that's not to give you too much kudos, but that Mitchell pick, that won't happen in the real world. That's an ADP. The rank is very low for him. People don't see him. I didn't even see him when I was on the clock at 3.1. We got to remember that when we're on the clock. So Josh Allen, Taylor, Waddle, Waller, Aaron Jones, love it. Love this squad. Very similar to mine. Rav, I mean... Everything depends on Kamara, but it could be a really good squad. Really good squad if Kamara doesn't get suspended. Mitchell, Cam, then you've got Chase, A.J. Brown, Andrews, very solid. You would have got a good quarterback too, so I like it. Eckler and Gibson, then MT, Lamb, and Kyler. Luter's got Breece Hall, Jefferson, Kenneth Walker, Jerry Jeudy, Elliott. A little lighter than we're used to seeing on Luter's teams. Luter, I think you may have done okay on this one, but you know, compared to your other teams, definitely not close. So, you know, we all win and lose some, Luter. You had to take not an L, but you're not getting, you know, a full ride scholarship back to sleeperu.com on this particular move, but you still have a good team. David Montgomery, Cooper Kupp, Kittle, Debo, Josh Jacobs, interesting. Hurts, Swift, Hill, Hopkins, Fournette. That could ball. BK's got Lamar, Cook, Pittman, Kelsey, Barkley. Where did Pittman go? 5.9? I mean, I guess that's not horrible, but Pittman rarely goes in our mocks that we go 5 rounds in. So it was like Pittman. Pittman went in the 3rd round in one of our mocks. It was crazy ones. Mahomes, Henry, Higgins, Chubb, Cooper. That could be pretty crafty. OJB's got Burrow, Mixon, Adams, Knox, ETN. That's a very crafty team. I like that. Probably top 6. Gyro. McCaffrey, JK. Not a huge fan of JK or Godwin. This is the all ACL team right here. Godwin and JK both coming back from an ACL tears. They're going to have potentially rough starts. And JK sharing carries. The Ravens have already talked about that they would be afraid to draft a running back. Like, JK, stay clear away from JK. I loved him last year. His upside, his talent is really high, but he was an injury-prone player walking into last season, and he got hurt. And on top of that, they've run a running back by committee anyway. They may draft a running back, they've said. And Lamar Jackson vultures touchdowns. JK is one of the biggest avoids in 2022 for me. Deontay and Diggs are good. McCaffrey's a big risk. So that's a big risk team right there. But, there's upside, of course. But yeah, I mean, good squads, guys. Good mocks. That was a good mock session we had there. Top Super Chatter of the year. Currently still Drew C. at 105. He's been there for almost a week, and no one's taken him down. Who's taking down Drew C. as the top Super Chatter of the year? Could it be you? Subscribe if you're new.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
And go to Smitty1.com, click on that underdog banner or the link in the description. Get a free 10-minute phone call with me. Use it whenever you want, right away on draft day. All you got to do is deposit a minimum of $10 in a new underdog account. Go to Smitty1.com, click on that underdog banner. And as we've mentioned all show, my rankings, looters there at Sleeper U, Sleeper like a university, Sleeper U. .com. That's for my rankings, the trade calculators, the dynasty stuff, the video courses, how to trade up to how to dominate the 1.1, how to dominate the 2.2 or the 1.2, how to dominate the 1.10, how to trade into the first round, how to trade after. All those video courses are on the way. Filming a lot of them. They're all available at sleeperu.com. So get on over to sleeperu.com and get some. Good little mock session, everybody. Good little mock session. We got in at like 5 or 6 mock drafts, right? We did a 10-second one. Those 10-second ones they fly by. They're fun. I love them. I apologize if I made anybody mad on my critical, mock draft evaluation process. Look, I try not to like give everybody second place trophies, when we're talking about mock drafts. And I could be wrong. I might have bad analysis. I might say, hey, that guy's not going to be good. And then I end up changing my mind on them. Like an example, earlier last offseason, I think like in maybe March. No, I think it might have been right after the draft. Someone said, "Hey, Smitty, what about Freiermuth?" And I'm like, "What about Freiermuth?" And I ripped on that. I'm like, I'm not thinking of I changed my mind about 2 months later and said, you know what, Freiermuth looks good, and I love Freiermuth now. I'm not always going to be right. Even when I come at somebody and say, you should have did this, you should have, trust your gut ultimately. If you truly believe Fournette's 2.1 capable, do you? But I'm just telling you, you don't need to draft players like Fournette at 2.1. And I'm coming at it from an angle, not that I don't like Fournette, but I'm trying to help you and tell you that Fournette belongs nowhere near 2.1 because his ADP's at least at 2.12 or beyond. And that's all I'm getting at. Zeke Elliott at 2.12 in one of the mocks, I went hard against that. But that's okay. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't like Zeke, but learn from it that he doesn't need to go anywhere in the 3rd round, let alone the 2nd round. So if you believe in somebody that I don't, and I don't really believe in Elliott this year, I'm buying Pollard and not Elliott. I don't really buy Fournette anywhere where people are obviously paying for him because I'm not going near him in the 2nd or 3rd round, but it doesn't mean he won't be good. It just means I like other players better. I'd rather get a Waddle who's fallen out of my top 5 and all of your top 5s, everybody's top 5 because Hill's in town in Miami, but his fallen value makes me like him even more because Hill could get hurt. Hill could get hurt. He's a speedster that's always kind of like an injury concern, not an injury prone guy necessarily, but an injury concern guy, moving teams, a speedy guy firing off that hamstring every time. Like, look at Deshaun Jackson. These speedsters sometimes don't last as long in the NFL when they're one of the quickest players in the league. And that doesn't really bode well for Waddle. He's a speed guy too, but he's early in his career. Hill may struggle staying healthy, playing full seasons. I'm not saying that for sure happens in 2022. We might have that one elite year, and then we start seeing it. But keep in mind that he's going into a system with McDaniel, who's going to run him a lot like Debo. And when you think about Debo, it's almost a miracle that Debo didn't get hurt last year significantly and missed like 4, 5, 6 straight games, because Debo was very injury prone and he was used on the ground more than ever like a running back. And if McDaniel coming over from San Francisco is going to abuse Tyreek Hill in ways that we're all going to be excited about watching for a while on the field production wise, but if Tyreek Hill, who's kind of an injury worry, not injury prone, but an injury worry, that's a speedster that's going to potentially be looking at hamstring injuries a little sooner than we would want, and he's going to be used as a running back, and he's a tank, but he's still smaller. There could be potential missed time for Tyreek Hill, which means Waddle, who's already going to produce like top 10 to 12 wide receiver numbers by default in a McDaniel system, because he'll to be used all over the field. But if he's getting like 4 or 5 games as wide receiver 1 in the offense, then he's going to finish inside the top 10. And for that reason, I love Waddle, even though his value took a hit with Tyreek Hill coming over to Miami. So just a little insight as to why I like certain guys and don't like others, why I might be passing on a Fournette, not because I totally hate the guy or think he's going to do bad. There's just players I like better. And DK Metcalf's falling too far. We're seeing DK fall into the 4th and 5th round. And I just think, it becomes a point where it's like, when are we reacting and saying, okay, enough is enough. I like him again. The line in the sand. We talk about the line in the sand all the time. And the line in the sand is like, Henry's a good example. This might have been the line in the sand that I wrote on here last. But it's like, you look at a player like, where's the focus there? You look at a player like Waddle and you say, okay, he used to be wide receiver 5, 6 for me. That's where my line in the sand was for Waddle and Dynasty. And now it might have moved, but I'm recognizing it very fast in redraft. So in redraft, Waddle's ADP is around 16 to 17 for wide receivers. Waddle. And yet Waddle for me is still around 10. So here's 1, 2, down to 10. Waddle for me, this is where I'm comfortable taking Waddle in a redraft. But his ADP is now 16 to 17 for redraft wide receivers. People are scared off. I see value in that. Same thing with DK. DK was like a maybe 20 overall ADP before Wilson, and then when Wilson was traded, he fell to like maybe 3.5 to 4.5. So now DK Metcalf is an absolute monster in this ADP range, especially when you get into the 4th round range. So you just got to be cognizant of player movement and adjusting and adapting, and not just saying, oh, I doubt DK because DK doesn't have Russell Wilson. He keeps falling, and you don't react to it. Like, you have to at some point draw a line in the sand mentally or actually write it out and say to yourself, great Scott, man. This guy's gone from 2.6 or 2.5 DK Metcalf now down to 3.5 to 4.2. Like, you got to readjust and say, now it's time to rethink it. And Avi says, nah, man, Tyreek Hill over Watt. Like, Avi, I don't think you listened to what I said. I love Tyreek Hill, and I just said he could have another elite year, and the injury thing may not happen, but no way, shape, or form am I saying Tyreek Hill isn't ranked over Waddle? I think you need to go back and watch that, Avi. I don't think you were paying attention in class. Avi, you weren't paying attention in class, bro.
Take a look.
Avi wasn't. He was sleeping. Head was down. Where's the Lamb love? I love Lamb. When have I not loved Lamb? Let's put Lamb. Lamb is a fantastic. I wouldn't draft Lamb here because you don't have to, but I'd say anywhere in the third round is a good spot for Lamb. The later, the better, but Lamb definitely has good third round ADP. He used to be right here in the redraft. The line in the sand moved to the third round. He flips into amazing value anywhere in the third round. I love Lamb. Not sure why you didn't think I love Lamb. I love Lamb. Lamb has a lot of potential. I could get a deal where I get JJ or Saquon and DK, but I'm scared DK. I'd rather have JJ. I'd rather have JJ than Saquon and DK. I know that sounds crazy, but if we're talking dynasty, I don't want Saquon. I don't want to. I know DK and Saquon feel like more talent, but I'd rather build differently and have the guy I feel is top 5 overall in dynasty in JJ. I believe in second chances, so lock Mariota, Trubisky all to get second chances this year for more. I don't know, the Bruce. I don't hate your approach. I like second chances. You know. The Bruce, I'm going to give you a second chance on getting me my video that you need to get me, bro. We're waiting on it, okay? So second chance to the Bruce. Definitely JJ says Avi. Avi's back. He's paying attention again. Lamb is a beta. Come on, Swaggy. You got to get over the Lamb hate. I appreciate you, though, Swaggy. I appreciate Avi. I appreciate all you. I am live every single Monday. Through. Whoa, almost unplugged my mic. Every single Monday. Why do I have an echo? There you go. Every single Monday through Friday. So join me, your man Smitty, here on the Fantasy Football Show. Every single Monday through Friday, we do emergency live streams. What do you think this was? An emergency mock draft show. An emergency mock draft show. I already went live earlier today for the Monday through Friday 7 p.m. show. But your boy Smitty doesn't sleep. Your boy Smitty doesn't slow down. It was mock draft night tonight. So we had to do it. We did like 6 or 7 mock drafts. We've been live for an hour and 40 minutes dropping nuggets all over the place. Dropping fantasy football goodness and awesomeness all over. 4 seconds left. Subscribe if you're new. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. I'll respond to every... You know, I want to finish my thought there. I will respond to every comment. You ask me a question in the comments, not in the live chat. As soon as the video ends, there'll be 0 comments. I will answer every single comment you throw at me going forward until I tell you otherwise, like you guys are asking too many or August comes and I can't handle it. But my goal is to answer every single comment you throw at me. So try me. Try me right after this video ends.